All right, so the muscle cell is excited. Now what? An action potential has come in through the sarcolemma and through the transverse tubules. And now notice that the transverse tubules and the sarcoplasmic reticulum are really close together. This rush in of sodium causes an action potential to occur, and then calcium is going to rush out of the sarcoplasmic reticulum. And this is what begins contraction. As calcium rushes out, what happens is this calcium is going to bind to the troponin. And troponin binding to calcium is going to move the tropomyosin rope, which will expose the myosin binding sites on these yellow actin balls. With that exposed, the myosin is going to bind to it right away. This is what a cross bridge is, and then it's going to pull, or this is what is called a power stroke. And when it does this power stroke, what happens is it shortens the sarcomere. So here it shows relaxed, and then it's going to shorten the sarcomere, which is going to make your muscle shorter. So this is kind of like the POV of the thin filament. We also have to talk about what's going on the thick filament. So the thick filament, what happens is for a muscle to become at rest, an ATP molecule has to come and be hydrolyzed by this myosin ATPase. That's literally what's going to release the cross bridge of the myosin and actin. So it hydrolyzes ATP and it kind of cocks it back. And this is how it is resting. This is how it is at rest. It has this ADP and phosphate. And then when it does form the cross bridge, the phosphate leaves. And that's what allows for this power stroke to occur. So this stays connected until there is a new ATP molecule to allow it to be released to relax. So here we have a picture of a relaxed sarcomere, and on the right we have a contracted sarcomere. So one thing that's interesting about skeletal muscle is that, as we know, it is a very large, complex, specialized cell. And we don't even call them cells here, we call them fibers. And they are produced by a bunch of myoblasts, which are basically like the stem cell in muscle, that are fused together. And that's what allows them to be so big and multinucleated. So because of this, they cannot do mitosis. There is no mitosis occurring here. So another way to think about this is that you're basically born with the number of muscle fibers that you have currently. So how is it that our muscles get bigger? Our muscles get bigger by gaining number of myofibrils, which is going to increase the diameter of our muscle fibers. So our muscles get bigger because our muscle fibers get bigger. They don't gain in number. This is called hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is like the mass of a muscle fiber getting larger.